building technologies to help the enterprise video space kind of grow and maximize kind of its return on investment. And now, like this trend that we're going to start out by discussing is really the reason for being. And this leads into the problem that Spoffle's tools and other kind of technical companies' tools are solving today. So one, underlying kind of fact of this industry is that most of the eyeballs online, most of the internet connections around the world today are spending their time in video. The way that a lot of our retail and kind of classic content marketers are feeling and thinking about this is today, like the demand for video online is the same as photography was in 2010. So that's a massive, massive demand. We can all remember kind of when social media was becoming more important, more of a priority for brands, agencies, and all forms of content delivery. Photography was becoming kind of a paramount investment. That's video today. And what we're going to see pretty soon is that that represents some really cool kind of opportunities to connect with your audience in new ways, but it also introduces some pretty intense challenges, especially in the department of ROI. So one interesting trend that we like to draw attention to when we're discussing this or getting ready to sort of dive into to the metrics that we see is as this space grows, and it is growing very, very rapidly, kind of doubling year over year. The amount of time that's spent by our audiences in the corners of the web where they actually can perform actions, where they can go through a checkout, where they can sign up to your newsletter, subscribe to your service. As the amount of space and time taken in video and sort of passive content is growing, those spaces that we rely on as businesses are shrinking. And that's kind of that's the main challenge that we see brands dealing with today. And that's where, a lot of the tools that we'll be discussing, they've emerged to sort of fit this gap or solve this problem. So you'll find a huge amount of metrics and statistics on this market. Everyone knows that video is kind of exploding, especially this year. It started to move very heavily in 2015 and kind of has rapidly escalated from there. You'll find a huge amount of research and marketing information on this. But I wanted to pull out these two statistics that kind of leave us with a pretty good foundation for the chat. One is, again, referring to the amount of time spent. So the Nielsen reported this year that we're up 38.5% in the last 2 years. That's the amount of time spent in video. So we can see users just absolutely moving towards this part of the web. That's where they're spending all of their time. This is not just kind of Netflix, Facebook video. This is every form of communication, from onboarding, training, safety videos, and of course, kind of multimedia marketing. The other statistic that I think is really important to pair with this is that consumers are more likely to buy today if they see a video than they would otherwise. So these two things taken together from Nielsen and Buffer tell us, one, that's where everyone is spending their time, but two, that it's not just passive, that this is actually connected to action. So this is actually a conversion space, and that gives us an opportunity to optimize for that behavior. So who's kind of creating this trend? This is all often surprising when we talk about video with new clients, with customers, and with audiences. So we often think of the classical content marketers, lifestyle, video channels, fashion, of course, but you might be surprised to see like some of the people who are actually investing into this space. The people publishing the most video today are B2B technologies, even C2C platforms like Craigslist, Kijiji, stuff like this, automation and manufacturing. The amount of iPad around conference floors today that are running strictly video to educate and engage customers. Financial services, NGOs, videos being used for everything from education now to inviting donations and even protecting employees in the workplace. So we look at some of the clients that Spoffle has been working with this year. And of course, like I said before, you're going to see a lot of people that you would expect to be investing heavily in video, automotive, your content marketers like Expedia, the music business, Rock Nation. But you might be surprised to see people like the United Nations invested in order to educate the public as to what types of programs they're offering. People like the Salvation Army doing donations, like we said before, and even Dow Chemical. So here's the root of the problem, and this is the trend that Spotful often discusses, that we see kind of the hottest thing in the space, is that this is really the issue that's driving the development of technologies around the world. We've got a massive demand for content today. There's no question about that. It's as high as photography was in 2010, as we said before. Brands are no longer making 2, 4 videos a year. Today they're making 2 or 4 videos a week. Now that paired with obviously the massive cost of production, it's much more expensive to build a video than it is to take a picture and distribute it. And then of course distribution. So we all know from the CPM market and the paid media market that distribution in the video space is a premium service. So this is a massively costly investment for brands across the board. They started dealing with this issue a couple of years ago, and it's become a truly an important problem to solve in the market space. So we're seeing technical companies now evolve trends to satisfy this. It's created this really interesting movement where you're seeing the digital functions that we rely on as businesses collide with the world of content. And new tools are evolving around the space to be able to allow every single brand, from a school board to a massive automotive retailer, to be able to easily merge those functions that we rely on as companies to drive growth with the destinations, the places where people are actually spending their time, which in our view is in video. So from here, we're going to jump in and look at a couple examples of how Spotful has tackled this using a self-serve product approach. So we're going to look at a couple examples that we've chosen that I think show a diverse range of applications for the interactive video market. And I'm going to show you some of the ways that clients are using technology to solve for this problem and maximize return on investment, so that this massive video production wave can actually make sense for your business. So I'm going to jump into the presentation quick and right into Chrome, and we're going to go through a couple of these really quick examples. Again, if anyone has any questions about what we're looking at and wants to kind of jump in at this moment, I would encourage you just to wait until the end. We've scheduled 15 minutes for you guys to discuss this with myself and the rest of the team, and we'll address anything there. And of course, all this material is going to be available to you after the presentation to be able to strike up a conversation with us and take it further. So these tools started emerging during the era of Flash, for those of you who are familiar with that. Even in the 90s, early 2000s, people were trying to tackle the idea of video commerce. As video becomes more and more of a movement, how do we kind of merge our tools to be able to monetize that space? It's gotten easier, and we as technologists have gotten better at solving that problem. And we've identified the roadblocks that prevented it from going kind of viral or going mainstream in the past. One was complementary stuff. So every time in the past that we've built technologies around this space, it's always been replacing something else. So we've seen a lot of companies, for example, try to push out a YouTube or a Vimeo for options that are more heavily monetized or more kind of wide-ranging in function. Spotful and other companies in the space have stopped doing that and developed complementary approaches. Shareability and access, which we'll talk about a little bit later, has also really greatly evolved. What I mean by that is video commerce applications that were custom built by agencies in the past or built by large technical teams couldn't be shared like a flat video. That's also gone away. So what we're seeing today, and what I'm about to show you, is a scenario where any type of video online can merge with any type of functionality. So it doesn't matter if you as a business depend on a sign-up form, a live chat box, or a e-commerce checkout to grow your business. We can merge all of that functionality with video. And it doesn't matter which video host or which analytical system that you use to monitor traffic and to distribute your content. All of these technologies will play nice with those videos as well. So let me show you some actual examples here. Here's the first one that I want to bring out. I'm going to bring the volume down. This is your typical Spotful video. You can see that it's running from Vimeo, so you don't need to kind of switch up the hosts or anything else like that. You're able to keep the view counts and the traffic where you like on your destination of choice. You can see that it's running right off the internet connection in browser, and that it's fully responsive. That's also that also proves the fact that this is an entirely complementary approach, and it's not going to kind of create a big shift in the way that people consume content. Now, these videos run the same way any regular flat video would, with the one obvious added difference that you've got these clickable buttons that show up on the top. So what we've been able to do with Spotful is merge calls to action like this that we usually see, even in banners and pop-ups, even in your website. We can put a CTA like this in any video and invite the audience to come and interact with the content. When audiences are clicking on this, we are able to access what we call a slide. And the slide's living inside the video, again, in a totally responsive fashion. But what we're actually looking at is an independent iframe. So this is a fully functional micro website, okay? Meaning, it's got three really important consequences. First of all, because this is an independent website running inside of a video, we're able to customize it completely from the front end. So your branding, your fonts, your CSS, everything that you depend on for your messaging, you can apply to video using this technology. Second, and these frames are able to support any type of function online, just like your website would, right? So think about an e-commerce checkout, a Google Map, a Twitter plugin. We're able to embed all of that type of functionality within these slides. And then third, because they're actual microsites, they're carrying their own URL, so we can track them the same way you would for a regular e-commerce store, or in this case, ticketing platform. So let's go a little bit farther along this video journey and grab another CTA, and I can show you another example. Videos like these will support an unlimited number of calls to action, and every call to action is fully customizable. So this can be text, it can be educational, it can be your brand, or it can be an icon. Then when we click on it, you can have a multitude of different slides built into every single campaign. So here, as opposed to the last banner image that was accessed, here we're running an entire website within the video frame. Now, you can see that this is not a card, this is not a kind of a link out option. This is a fully functional ticketing platform built into a viral video, complete with inventory control, everything from cart abandonment, and everything else that you use to optimize traffic. Same here. So that's one obvious example where everywhere that this video goes now, the Spotful technology and other video commerce technologies are going to allow for every single view to invite a conversation with the audience and then monetize that conversation directly. So when I go in and I invest $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 into a piece of content like this, I'm able to measure if that investment can break even. And that's really what the brands that work with us and with other companies in this space are looking to accomplish. That's the challenge of ROI in video solved. Now, jumping to a completely different industry, because I wanted to talk about the diversity within this space, let's have a look at what telecom would do here. So I mentioned before, and I know I'm going fast, but we're trying to get this in within a reasonable amount of time. Spotful within these videos will support any type of third-party web function. That even means video and video. So we actually have brands today that are allowing people to click on spots like this one in the top left corner and access a YouTube video inside of another YouTube campaign. And that allows like a deeper conversation, a deeper relationship with the audience to be formed. And the data suggests now, like the content engagement data tells us that this is forming deeper relationships. It's leading to massive trends in customer loyalty, in return rates, and decreased bounce rates. This is the way that we're finding audiences want to be spoken to and want to be interacted with. So you can also think about it in that respect, like publishing video in this way and distributing content in this way. Is actually like a great way to just show respect for your audience. We're talking about Snapchat users, etc. But as you can see here, not only do we get to kind of reach out and create that dialogue that like the current audience and customer base demands, but we can also use the same technology to forward our business goals. So here, for example, with Rogers, you've got a fully functional live chat available within the video content. Now again, like everywhere that this video goes downstream through paid channels, organic channels, social channels, it's going to carry that functionality and be able to optimize every single view for growth everywhere that it goes. So that's the player, and we're going to follow up with a couple other interesting examples afterwards that show you kind of how brands are using this at scale, and the case studies that kind of go along with it. So if anyone's interested in that type of material, feel free to follow up with us, and we'll come back and load you up with some great stuff to talk about. From this point, I want to show you how we build these videos. And although some of this stuff might be concepts that you've heard about or seen before, the way that Spotful is solving a massive part of this problem, which is scalability, is within like the online cloud productivity suites. So these are online editors that allow us to build these videos, turn them around, render something from like a flat presentation into an interactive, monetized, scalable experience in 12 minutes to 25 minutes. So let's jump in there. I've pulled out a few examples here. What I'm going to do is take you through the steps of building a travel video for Brazil in a couple minutes. So here we go. So yeah, moving over from the player to the dashboard itself. This is the Spotful project management dash. End-to-end project management, everything from conceptual content creation to analytics and reporting to distribution management. It's going to be done from this one kind of pane of glass. So let me take you through the steps really quickly to sort of prove to you how easy this is to do and why this is making so much sense for so many different types of clients. So logging into this, again, this is all accessed through the Spotful website, so you can easily just log in right through bspotful.com, get right into this dashboard. There's no installation or really training necessary to get started on here. And right away, you're able to jump into new projects. So here we go. Let's create a new project. I'll get into the other aspects of the dashboard later on, but right now I just want to show you how we build these really quickly. So your first step inside of Spotful is to choose a video to work with. You're going to be able to host your stuff here. So you can upload files directly onto the platform. You can also store sort of a library within Spotful. So I'm able to manage a library of previously uploaded videos, so my own assets. I'm also able to link in URLs. So here it's asking me for a URL for a video. So I'm going into YouTube. I'm going to grab something that I searched for earlier today. So Travel Deeper Brazil. Let's grab this. Now all I have to do in order to take this video and render it into the Spotful platform is copy and paste the link in the browser, drop it in, and you'll see that right away that entire YouTube video is getting pulled right into Spotful. So now we're in the creative suite. This is the editor view where you're able to collaborate on projects, to get creative, to push the boundaries of your content, and to do it all in a non-technical drag and drop fashion. So you can see that this is still hosted by YouTube. So we haven't had to kind of download or re-upload or anything like that. And the process of building this spot into the video, literally all you need to do is, as you're watching it, you click anywhere here or touch the new slide button, and it's going to open up this wheel. Now, a Spotful operates very similar to a content management system or a website builder, and it treats the video in the same way. So I may want to embed a biography page. I may want to embed a social feed or like a full web check-in. And all I've got to do is interact with these pre-built templates to get me there. So let's start with social. I'll drop in a Twitter feed here. And this is the process. So immediately it's going to drop my slide. Clicking on the pen up here, I'm able to reposition and resize the slide to something that I like more. So let's make a nice big one here for the moment. As soon as I'm satisfied, I just click on this. The trigger itself, the spot, is also movable, so you're able to kind of drag and drop this all over the place. You can also upload sort of any replacement trigger for that. So and Spotball's team is already kind of always on hand to help you out with that stuff as well. So let's find a random Brazil Twitter feed. I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking for. At Visit Brazil, that'll work. So all I've done here is, oh, well, they're not very active. I've put it into the to the right, to the column here on the right, and immediately you see that the application has reached out, connected with Twitter, and pulled the information for this feed into the video itself. Now, this is a direct example of taking a flat video and rendering it into something that's going to be able to create growth. So you're able to build audience with this, interact with people, everything that brands are interacting with Twitter for, you're now able to bring that power into the video itself. So that's one way that brands are building audiences. Let's jump forward a little bit, and now I'll fully monetize this feed. So I'm going to put another spot in here. This time I'm going to create a full website inside of the video. Here's my frame. Let's put it over here. Make it a little thinner. Drop it on the side. And again, this time it's asking me for a secure website URL. So what I've done is I've gone to Expedia. I've pulled this Brazil vacations kind of booking page with all of its analytics, all of its content, everything else. And again, I'm going to grab the URL and drop it in. And right away, what you can see is that we've taken this video in 2 or 3 clicks, and we've pulled in the entire search engine for booking travel. Well, now, everywhere this video goes down the stream, I'll hit preview. I'll show you what it looks like now. Still coming from YouTube. You can see on the bottom the 2 little white dots. I've got my 2 spots that I've just built. As we go through, here we go. And I can follow my tweet, do all this other stuff. Let's jump forward to the next one and see how this one's working. And here we go. I'm able to go all the way through. It sees that I'm in New York. It's able to do everything that the Expedia website's doing. And now this video is able to create its own dollars out of every single view. And that's how we create a video. So at this point, we've gone through the player, we've gone through the trends, we've gone through kind of the way that Spotball is solving this problem from the product standpoint. We're going to jump back into the keynote here and talk about a little bit more in terms of what you should expect from this stuff. So one of the questions that we get very, very often is, where are these videos going to live? Okay, great. You know, I can monetize every piece of content that I own. I can do it in a few minutes. That's wonderful. But does this actually apply to the way that I distribute today? Socially, through paid channels, through my apps, etc. And the answer is that we're doing our very best. I mean, the industry has evolved a great deal in terms of compatibility and working with brands to get this content out to all of your channels. And we've come very, very far. So today, these videos are able to be distributed socially. They can also live on all of your brand properties as embed codes, the same as any kind of flat video. Through any of your app properties, also your partners, your affiliates, places that you typically distribute content. You can put it into platforms. So we work with some platforms that you saw in the brand slide before. Great guys like Tidal, Spotify, Nike, brands that have invested in large kind of platforms for the users. These videos will live there and live there really, really healthily. Again, how to and onboarding. They will go out in blogs and press pushes. So we see a huge amount of content pushed out through PR strategies that's able to convert downstream. And then paid media as well. So Spotful videos are IAB approved and can be distributed as fast tags, meaning they will be they're compatible with ad servers and can go out as pre-roll and other forms of interactive ad unit. Happy to talk about this more after the session as well. Again, a major kind of blocker to access in the past and something that the industry has really solved for in 2017 is mobile. A massive amount of our audiences, as you all know, is coming through mobile channels, either socially or through paid. And Spotful was actually one of the first players to ever be able to crack into iPhone and Android across devices. So these interactive players are now running outside of apps. And what I mean by that is they will run inside of mobile browsers. This is really, really important because in the past, we actually had to download, we had to ask our customers to download applications in order to consume this type of content. Those days are gone, and now these players are compatible across every single phone with an internet connection. Now, a little bit about what to expect. This is also a massive conversational topic within video commerce. So people want to know what the benchmarks are. When I build something like this, I know what my metrics are today. I know what my performance is today. What should I expect to see after investing? Now, we started building these tools during a time when YouTube reigned supreme with a 1.84 CTR rate in 2015. That's attributed to annotations. And this is one of the highest, if not the highest, CTR in all digital media, digital marketing. What we see when we kind of re-engineer those experiences include more touch points, more CTAs, less invasive material, and more kind of active content. Is this model just gets blown to pieces? So right now, the 51% that you're looking at in the center of the screen, this is the average engagement rate across all verticals on Spotful. Everything from real estate to education to CPG. We've got engagement rates on the platform as high as 90% right now. That's a binary unique engagement, meaning 90% of viewers click on at least one spot. And we have quite a wide range in there, everywhere from about 90 down to typically within these types of environments, it's unlikely to see engagement rates lower than about, minimum, I would say 10 to 15%, and that's quite rare. So really a completely new model. Another interesting trend that we see, which is fun for the marketing meetings, is using this technology, you're able to drive engagement rates above 100%, which is a wonderful thing to report back to your clients when you're able to drive CTRs over 100. And the way that this is built is at the beginning when we first saw this, we thought it was a bug, but what it's actually originating from, it's not a binary engagement rate, but it happens when most of your users are clicking on more than one spot, or when they watch a video through and then we start seeing a trend of audiences clicking back, rewinding, and clicking on a spot a second time to explore the content behind it again. So that's Spotful. That kind of wraps up my 30 minutes, I believe. So we're right on time. And I hope I've answered most of your questions. I know this was a lot of information. As I think I mentioned before, Spotful puts on these webinars once every month. So we're happy to kind of invite you back. This time we're talking about video commerce. Next month we'll be talking about interactive media trends within the travel industry. So feel free to tune in for that. And as we said before, all the material that we went through today will be sent to you in a package after the call, after the broadcast. And feel free to reach out with any kind of more questions or to start a discussion around how we can make this work for your brand or your clients. From here, I'm going to see if there's any questions. I'll leave the broadcast open for another 5 minutes if there are any questions, and if not, then we will hopefully see you on the next webinar. And we look forward to having a great conversation in the next couple weeks. Okay, cool. So I've got a great question about education right off the bat, and this is something that in the 5 years that we've been in market, we've worked really hard on this question. So the question is, how best to ensure users know that the video or buttons are actionable? So are we able to A/B test? Can you figure out kind of what CTAs are most effective? So this is a really interesting place where Spotful has been investing from a product standpoint. We do a few different things to test this stuff. One thing is obviously the customization of triggers. This is an active practice within every single campaign on Spotful. So we'll design and test the efficiency of triggers in the kind of early on in a campaign's life cycle. So is it showing up early enough? Does it need to be more educational? We can even go so far as to include content in the video, training the audience on how to interact with it. So what I mean by that is this. Let me jump into Spotful's gallery. I'll show you a live example of one of the ways that we can optimize for the educational piece, or like the onboarding. Again, I encourage all you guys to check out the gallery following the broadcast and see kind of what other customers are doing with this. So here's one really interesting way that a customer tackled that question. Right? Here's a custom video built for Spotful. They've got a educational piece here, and as soon as I jump into this, it's actually taking me through, and this one happens to be in Japanese, but you get the idea. It's taking me through like the steps of how to interact with the video. So the audience immediately not only knows that it's interactive, but is building kind of a trust with the publisher, which has been really effective. Now, the other thing that's pretty important, yeah, that is an animated GIF, Matt, absolutely, just so you know. So the PNGs that we use for triggers, just another question coming up really quick here. Just to quickly clarify, the PNGs or the image files that we use for triggers can be GIFs as well. So they can be kind of movable, sort of small videos like this one. One thing that I wanted to mention just on this point before we move on to other topics, is that you can measure a Spotful video using this technology the same way you measure a website. So, gone are the days that we had to invest in a video, go through the approvals, polish the creative, release it, and see how it did. Now what you're able to do using these tools is release that, load it with spots, see how it performs in the analytics section of the dashboard, which we didn't have time to look through, but we're happy to demo that for you at a later time if you want to follow up. Now we're able to make dynamic changes to the content and see how it performs in real time. So if you publish a video commerce piece that's carrying a spot that you don't feel is performing well, you can make changes to its size, its timing, its placement, or its baseline creative, and watch the impact on your audience in real time. The same way as when we edit a website and we say, okay, well, we want people going more quickly to the e-commerce store, to the e-commerce section. We're able to get in front of them. Maybe you want to do put a big CTA, put a larger link kind of right in the middle of the page, and we see the results of that immediately in the traffic and the conversion rates of our sites. The same principle is being applied to video here. So that's really kind of the greatest thing about A/B testing, on Spotful, is you're able to see those results immediately. It's also, the platform is also equipped with the ability to clone campaigns. So now that I've created this campaign, for example, if I'm loading it up with spots and I believe that they can be that they could perform better, I can actually go into this section here, duplicate the project. Now I've immediately cloned it, and I can make adjustments to the spot and test my theories. So we're able to include different types of interactions on versions, release them in targeted fashions or organically, and then compare the analytics. The analytics, which we don't have time to demo today, but to give you a quick kind of insight as to what they resemble, this is what you'll typically see. So very simple. On every campaign that you clone and release, you'll be able to compare completion rates, engagement rates per spot, and export those results directly into your own reporting system. All right, guys, so if there are no more questions, then we can wrap up the broadcast here. I want to thank you again for taking the time to experience Spotful and to talk about video commerce. This is a really, really exciting topic for a lot of brands, and we hope that we've made this space a little bit more clear and a little bit more accessible to your business, and help you to justify the investment in video that the market is kind of demanding right now. We're happy to follow up with any of you and all of you to talk about your specific projects and start collaborating and testing ways to get them into market. So feel free to follow up directly to the webinar invite that was sent to you through our mailing list, or to get in touch through Spotful's website, which is bspotful.com. And if that's all, everyone have a great day, and thanks very much for participating.